Hi everybody and welcome along. It's nice to see you again, and for the new subscribers it's nice to see you. Today we're going to be carrying on really. I had sort of started half-heartedly a bee themed, I hadn't got as far as the journal, I was just doing some ephemera, but now I've got a clear picture in my mind of where we're going with the bees. Hooray! This will incorporate a design team element for Liana scraps, and these are the papers. So I just want to show you the papers first because they are fabulous. I mean, look at that. Look how beautifully that's printed. It's really lovely. I've gone ahead and cut them in half, which I really shouldn't have done. I couldn't wait. And on the back, this honeycomb, which beautiful background. Then this one, which is probably my favourite of all. Well, it's got flowers on. With honey pot, and on the back the American Bee Journal, 2 bees. This one, that's gorgeous as well, with a big lily in the honey pot. They do print out really well. And on the back, the other side of the honeycomb. This one, really nice sort of collage page really, in fact. And on the back, the bee journal and some journaling space. These ones I haven't cut out. Flowers, honeycomb, journaling space, really lovely. And that lovely image of the bee there, and this bush that the bees are all buzzing round. It's really, really nice. And this one. Lots of journaling space here in the honeycomb, the honey pot and comb actually. And one of those, they've got a particular word, those honey things that you get honey out, but I can't remember what the word is. And some flowers poking behind there, lovely page. And then this is almost sort of like a textbook page. It's written in French, but what it says is irrelevant really. It's just about the bees. Did I show you the back of that one? Yeah. This one. I do love these sunflowers that she's put in them. They're adorable. And that, the honey's just dripping down. Couldn't you just eat that? Yes, I could. And this border around the bottom, which is just bees in a honeycomb. And then on the back, a really good journaling page. It's got honeycombs on it all the way around, so it's definitely bee themed, but it's really good journaling space. And this one, pretty similar, the big border around the bottom with all the bees in the honeycomb, journaling space, dripping honey. Then this, gleanings in bee culture. What you need to do if you want to keep bees, I guess. And that's the contents page. There's all sorts of things, honey candles, glucose preparations, formaldehyde. I don't think we need to go there. And this page, really pretty, happy little page. And this one is that image again with bee journal across there. Journaling space. And when you, that's really lovely, isn't it? Really, really lovely. Golden honey. The American Bee Journal. It's just a really, really nice set. And there is also available, that's called the Golden Bee Junk Journal set, that one that I've just shown you. And these ones are the Vintage Bee Ephemera. Fussy cuts of bees there, should you feel so inclined. I don't think my life's long enough to cut those out, to be honest. But some nice cards, very nice. Let's put that on the bottom. And some more, that's lovely, I love that one. And that. Well, I love them all, really. Really useful cards, good to work with. Images that we've seen in the kit, but now condensed so we can use them readily as cards. And that one. Italian bees. I don't really know why they're any different to other bees, but it was obviously worthy of, oh, it's an advert. Oh, maybe you can buy Italian bees. Maybe they're better than other people's bees. I do not know. Anyway, we've got those, so now I've shown you those, I can cut them out. But the actual kind of gubbins of this new journal is going to be, well, it's something I haven't done before, not in this exact format. You might have done, or you might have seen it done before. It just kind of came to me. Actually, we'd gone grocery shopping, and I don't go in the shops because I'm shielding. I'm asthmatic, so I don't go in the shops. Mr. F does all the shopping, and generally when he's in the shops, I just go through my phone as you do. You know, Facebook, Twitter, you know, Instagram, you know, the normal usual things that we all do. And then it suddenly came to me, because I'd been messing around with this morning. I know what I want to do. So what I want to do is this. Can't really, I need to cut that bit off to show you properly. Let me just cut this bit off and then you'll see what I'm doing. You see what I'm up to. But it's a kind of different formulation of the same old. Same old, same old. Let me just cut these off. These are file envelopes, file folders, document wallets. Not exactly sure what the proper name for them is, but I'll show you what they are in a sec. And they will be familiar to you, I know. So just cut that bit off there. Right, so this is what I plan to do. Here's the document wallet thing, like that. And so I know you all know what these are, and I'm sure some of you will have some. If anybody's interested in the UK, I get mine from Viking Direct. And this is it. It's going to fold up like that, down like that. So this is going to be a bit of a sort of policy type envelope, string and button closure there. And that'll fold up, that'll fold down. Then the pieces that are in the journal are free then to go right up and over. Now, because they do that, this piece is going to have to be facing me when it's like that. So it's going to be the right way around here, but when it goes to there, it's not going to look upside down, because it's going to, the top will be at the top up here, bottom at the bottom down here. And that's it. You can flip through all that. I just made this mock-up just to see if it actually would work. And that's that. So it folds up and it folds up. I don't know how much allowance we're going to have to leave here. I might even have to put larger rings in it. And we might, I'm not going to cut this bit off the bottom yet until I see if we actually need to make a sort of bit of a gusset really to allow for the thickness of the pages. So that's it. That's kind of the idea. I did tie a bit of that through there just to see if it looked nice. It might with the ribbon. We'll see, but you know, that doesn't really matter at this stage. So the first thing to do then is to knock the ends out on here, because you can't cut it straight with them still in. I'll cut them at both sides. And then I'm going to be governed by the size of the, let's just chop these off, shall we? Make life so much easier. I'm going to be governed by the size of the paper, which I printed out in A4 borderless, but it still doesn't reach right to the sides because it's made for US letter. So I'll tell you in a sec what mine are and what I'm going to cut them to. I shouldn't really have printed on both sides. I didn't know that was what I was going to do when I printed them out. So, you know, that's been a bit wasteful, but this honestly just came to me in like a blinding flash. I wasn't even in the bath. Couldn't even shout Eureka. but you know what I mean. Right, there we are. It's got rid of those little bits there. So, oh, I've got rid of that bit. Nearly made it. You could do it with these still on, but it just makes it easier if they're gone. Right, so here are my half pieces of paper, and they measure. Let's have a look and see what they do measure. They measure 5 3/8. Right, but what I want to do is put each one on a piece of this yellow card. It's the perfect yellow, actually. It matches so well, and it'll just give a bit of rigidity to each of the leaves. So I want each piece on a piece of this with a border around. Not much of a border, but a bit of a border. So, can I get any out of there? No, that's just a bit too tight. Is that any bigger? Oh, well, yes. Yep, it is. I could get one out of there. And then along here, I could get 1, 2. So for each file folder, I'm going to get 3 leaves. I think I want more than 3. 3's a bit parsimonious, isn't it, really? So yeah, I'll go. I've also got to be careful because I've got writing on the back of here, and it's a curse. It's a curse, I tell you. So that might hinder our plans, or if I cut it carefully, it might be all right. Yeah, just have to cut it really carefully. Let's get this one out of here first, though, so you can see what I'm going on about. It's this side, wasn't it? So, what shall I leave? 1/4 inch? Would that be enough? Would it be too much? Would 1/8 be better? It's all these decisions, isn't it? And they all take time to work out. Right, that's just less than 1/4. Let's just see what 1/4 looks like. Right, that's 1/4, and I think that's too much. I think 1/8 is going to look better. That's 1/8. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, so I need it 2/8 wider, 1/8 on each side, so 2/8, which is 1/4, and 1/4 taller. So let's just see. Check. Let's check what this is. I might have to write this down because you know I'm challenged in that department, the memory department. Where's my pencil? Here it is. Right, so this measures, let's get the right bit on it for a start. This is 5 3/8. So it's 5 3/8 plus 2/8, which equals 5 5/8. There you go. Who knew maths could be so easy? And let's just see how tall it is. It's, that's tricky. It's not 9 1/8. It's just over 9 1/8, but I could make it 9 1/8. So 9 1/8 plus 2/8 equals 9 3/8. Oh, we're motoring now. Right, so let's put these in the bin out my way. Are they going to just annoy me? Right, so let's make that exactly 9 and whatever I said it was, 1/8. Well, actually I meant 8. I don't mean 9 at all. I meant 8. 8 and 1/8. Sorry guys for the confusion. Yeah, it's just a little over 8 1/8, but I'm actually going to take it down to 8 1/8. So I then know exactly, I can get all my pieces exactly the same, which is going to be critical. Right, so let's cut the first bit out of here. So we need it to be See, I told you I needed to write it down. 5 5/8. That's the wrong side. Come on. 5 5/8 is there. Yeah, it's fun, this, isn't it? Great fun. These are all the bits that you've just got to get right. Otherwise, the whole thing's just going to look botched. We don't want botched. That's going to cut along there. It's not the right height, but it'll just give me that bit of card to... Oh, come on, rotary cutter. Right, so that's that. And now I need to cut at 8 3/8. I'm going to change that because I'm just going to keep saying 9 all the time. It's 8. 8. Right, thank you. So 8 3/8. Line everything up. I was using my paper trimmer this morning and I must say it's nowhere near as accurate as this. Maybe it's just because I don't use it very often. I'm not very good at it or something, but I just couldn't get it to be as accurate as this. Right, so let's try a bit of paper on it. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, I think an 1/8 is the right amount. I think any larger than that and it would start to look not right. Lovely. So that's one piece. Let's cut another couple of pieces out of here. I'm going to have to cut it on this side, I think, to try and avoid the writing, if I possibly can. So it's got to be longer than 5 3/8. No, 5 5/8. So about there. I'm going to have to come to there, I think. But, yeah, there. That's where I need to cut it. Let's just put a little pencil mark there. Right. So I'm going to cut down there, right up against this writing, and that'll leave me this space. Ooh, is that enough? No, I'm going to come along to the next one, I think. I'll just straighten that up. Right, let's just cut that. Cut that out. That's going to be very, very tight for an 1/8. In fact, too tight. But I could always put a pocket on, you know, where that little bit is. So all is not lost yet. So we know that's square. So let's measure our 5 5/8. 5 5/8. I really want this so exact. The thing is, it will be seen from both sides, so I really have to take that into account. So I'll cut this off along, there's a crease line here, so I'm just going to cut it off along there. Straight as you can. And then we want this at 8 3/8. 8 3/8. Straight along the bottom. Make sure everywhere is straight. Are you straight? Straight-ish is not good enough. Okay. So that should be another piece that is comparable to this piece. Yeah, jolly well is. Well done. Right, so now we need, just cut off these flappy bits because they're beginning to get on my nerves now. I'm not going to throw them away because I might need them for pockets or backing journaling cards or something, so I'm going to hang on to them. But I don't need them flapping around right at the minute. So that's not quite straight down there because that's where we cut the edge off, so I'm going to have to make an allowance for that. I'm going to put it there. That'll definitely give me enough room. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, these words are a curse when you want both sides. Well, just what about if I'd cut that there? 5 and 5, 8. No, I'm still going to be, still got the same problem. So I'll cut it here. Try and get it straight. So I want, what do I want? 5 and 3/8. And there we go. I think that's about right. Okay. I've got that right on the edge. Oh well, I'll have to live with it now. And I want it 8 and 3/8. Got a bit of a ridge there. So yeah, I'll cut it off about there. Then measure my 8 and 3/8, and then we should have 3 leaves, pages, whatever. So it's been stressful, hasn't it? Right, great. I probably want more leaves than that, but for the time being, I think we're all right. So we've got 3 of these to go into our flippy flappy. So in place of the white, we'll have the yellow, and then on the yellow, we'll sew, well, could sew, but I'm not going to, this. Oh, don't tell me I've cut that the wrong size. After all that, I've cut it the wrong size. What size have I cut it at? Oh, 5 and 3/8. It's supposed to be 5 and 5/8. Oh well, there's another bit. I'll carry on anyway because I'll cut the rest of these out. I won't torture you by making you watch me cut these out because it's obviously quite a torturous thing to do. So what we want to do now is cut out the piece that's going to be the actual cover. And that's just a straightforward chop of a file. So let's just poke these out again. Like so. And we can chop them off. Like that, just get a ruler out and just chop them down. I'm going to chop this. I don't think we're going anywhere near it, but just on the off chance that we do, just makes it a bit easier. It makes it lie flat. Right, okay. So this is the size of our leaves that's going into it, and they are 5 and 5/8. So I want to allow a little bit extra as a margin for the journal. So 5 and 5/8 come here. So I wonder if I need to leave a quarter all the way around, or an eighth? More decisions. More decisions. I'm going to leave a quarter because I can always cut it down again. So a quarter on each side is 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch is 4/8. So that's 9/8. So that's an eighth. So that's 6 1/8. Let's just do the maths again. 5 5/8 plus a half, which is 4/8. So that's 9. So that's 1. That makes that 6 1/8. 6 1/8. Hooray! Oh my goodness me. Whoever would have thought this could be so difficult? Well, me. I'm just going to draw cut a straight line up there. Just check it straight on the bottom as well. I don't know why my rotary cutter's gone blunt. I don't think it likes cutting these actually. And then I want 6 1/8. Well, this is 1 2 3 4 5 6. This is 6 1/2 ruler, so it should be all right. I'll just leave 1/8 hanging out over the edge. It should be perfect. Okay. So there we have it. That is our, like that I think, that's our cover for our journal, file folder, whatever you, loose leaf folder, whatever you choose to call it. Now then, the next thing to do is, because when you look at the back we've got all this writing, and anyway, this is 250, so it's not the thickest. So what I want to do is cover the back. And for that, my papers from Liana Scrap aren't big enough to cover it. You know, that's the size of them, so that they don't cover it. So I've got one of my 12 by 12B themed pieces, scrapbooks. And I've got out this one, the Hackney & Co. Tell the Bees. It's by Craft Consortium. It's 12 by 12, and I've looked through it all. There's some gorgeous contenders, but I decided on this one, which I think is the one at the back, is it? No. That one. So that's one side of it, and this is the other side of it. And actually, I like this side better. I don't know why. This side's got gold foiling on, so, you know, it's more expensive, but it doesn't matter. If that's not what you fancy, then that's not what you fancy. So I've cut out this piece that's just, no, I haven't, forget about that. Just changed my mind since then. Let's get another piece out. It's very nice paper, this Hackney & Co. stuff. Really lovely. Right, so what I'm proposing to do is stick this on. This is the full 12 inches. Oh, you can't see that, but never mind. And leave about an inch at the top, over the top, and about the same at the bottom, so as it will wrap around. Because what I don't want are the paper to end right there. It just makes a weakness on it, and it's very awkward to get it really tidy. So my idea is that I'm going to just wrap it round a little bit, then put some different paper there, and, you know, some lace or whatever floats our boat at the time. So we said that was 6 1/8. So we want this to be exactly the same. 6 1/8. And it's at this stage where you have to decide whether you're going to sew to sew or not to sew? That's the question. Right, so there's a lovely bit for making folding up pockets or something. So that's going to go like that, over the top, over the bottom, and then we'll deal with whatever's left there. Put some other paper on. Now then, I do quite want to sew, but I don't know if I want to sew the cover or not. But you probably do really want to sew the cover. It sets the tone for the whole thing, doesn't it? So I shall leave you at that stage today. So what we've achieved is we've cut our journal ostensibly out of the file folder that goes underneath there. We have cut our, well, some of our leaves to go in it, which are somewhere around, like this. So when you open that up, this is what you'll see, but they'll have papers on it. So it'll be, you see that 1/4 of an inch on each side, it's quite a lot, isn't it? Can you see that there? It is quite a lot. I might decide to slice that down a bit, but we'll see. We'll leave it there. I'd rather have excess that you can slice down than not have anything and think you've made a mistake. So I'm not sure on the length, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. And if I need to make a gusset, I've got some space here that I can make a gusset with. Yeah, okay. I'll get my machine out, I'll do a bit of sewing, and then you can join me again. Right, hi everybody. I've just been sewing around things, and I've begun to ink around some of the pieces that I've got. Just using, oh, you can see that sparkly, can't you? It's lovely. I've just been using Vintage Photo, and that's that piece done. And I've been using my brush. So you ink it up, tap it off, and then come in from the side. And that way then you get a nice even inking around your piece. Pick up what's left there. So in from the side around like that. Don't put your brush down, or your dauber or whatever it is. Don't put it down for the first pass on the paper. Put it off the paper to the side, and then brush it in from the side like that. And you get a much nicer, more even coverage. As you can see, I hope you can see anyway. So you're just tapping off the excess, otherwise it'll start so much darker. More darker than you probably wanted. If you've done this and you want it a little bit darker, just go over it again. You can do the edges as well by just butting up to them like that. You get a nice dark edge on it. But that for me is perfect. That's what I'm looking for. I don't want it dominated by ink. So then we've got this big piece. And I've put 2 rows of stitching here, just as a sort of point of difference, really. It's just straight stitching. I could have done a fancy stitch, but I thought I'd just do straight. And take your time with it. This is something I think we've lost when junk journaling. Everything has to be fast, and videos have to be fast. Everything has to be fast. And it's quite nice sometimes. Just take your time. I'm inking. That's what I'm doing. And it'll take as long as it takes, basically. So any bits that you see that look a bit lighter, just go over them. It's really nice tone, this Vintage Photo on our honeycomb. You could use wild honey, which is another alternative. That might look quite nice. I haven't got any of that. I've got fossilised amber and I did try it, but it was too yellow. This is a much more goldeny golden colour. That's what it is. It's a goldeny golden. And I'm using as my inking mat chopping board from Poundland. They're brilliant. Any excess ink just washes straight off onto the tap. So it saves you your lovely cutting board and getting all inked up. So there we are, we've got all our pieces that we need for the moment inked up. So here's our cover. Now the first things that I'm going to do is stick on these bits, the shiny bits, on the flaps. So let's get on with that. Well, I would if I knew where my glue was. My glue's gone missing. I've got aliens there, but here it is. It's hiding on me. It's because I was so busy the other day packing up Etsy orders and stuff. Whoa, it's running out. It's been on its side and it's keen to get out and smell the roses. So we'll put these on top and bottom first. I'm using Collal. It's my glue of choice. It seems to stick everything that I ask it to stick. It's in these Sugar Bell bottles, it's a dream. I mean, you've got to kind of get the hang of them. The first time I used it, I had so much glue on there. Honestly, it was ridiculous. So let's see, we want this way up with the stitched edge at the edge. Let's put it like that, we'll see what we're doing. So I want it like that with a stitched edge at the edge, that edge up there, that edge there, and we should all be okay. Should all be straight and nice and good. And if you get it straight and nice and good, you're doing all right. So let's just get a dry wet wipe. Once again, they're all hidden under piles of stuff. Let's just go around the edge of that. Bed it in. Lovely. Now then, that is actually longer than it needs to be. So I'll just give that, I'll just wipe that glue off. Give that a minute and then I'll trim it off. But it does look nice. It looks very nice. I'm going to get my brayer out and just go over that, just to sort of level the glue out underneath it and make sure it has a really good contact. You don't need to, you can use your bone folder over it. It's just, I have a brayer and it's good to use like that. So there we are, right, so we need to cut off this excess bit at the bottom. I hadn't realised it was quite that long, I must be honest. There we go. Need that to be really, really level because the other piece is going to come around and fold over it. So I don't want any lumpy, bumpy bits. That wouldn't do at all. So, get rid of that sticky bit. So that's the bottom flap. Now we've got to do the top flap. Same thing, stitching on the edge. Stitching on the edge. And that isn't too long, that's fine. So just glue that up. It's warm in this room, so the Collal is quite runny, which is good. It comes out of the applicator really, really easily. You just have to be careful with it. Get the feel for it before you go gluing anything really important. Well, everything's important, of course. There we go. Right, let's get this piece on. So just line it up again, the corners, the bottom, the side. Yeah, lovely. That's lovely. Neat and tidy, just how we want it. There we go. I'm all sticky now, so everything's sticking to me. I'm just going to go over with the brayer. You can hear that glue tacking up behind it. But if you feel it before you brayer it and afterwards, it's so much smoother after you've brayed it. So, worth doing, I would say. So here's our journal cover, really, ostensibly. I guess that's what it is. And then we want to attach this. And it's just going to come over the top like that, all the way down and over at the bottom. We'll put something over it so it won't look really not nice. So let's just see where we want the glue to go. About there, I would say. So make a little pencil mark. So I'm just going to stick the back on first before I bring it over onto the front. So let's just make that, draw a line along there. Can't see my rulers through my sewing machine, so it's a bit of a lottery. That's it about there. Put the glue up to about there. And just mark the line on the bottom as well. Then you won't have loads of gluiness where you don't want it. Okay. Oops. And this time we're gluing on the foiled side because we want the other side to be the face side, the good side. Make sure that you get the edges done, because this is going to be really the cover of your journal, so you don't want your edges coming undone. You never want your edges coming undone, but particularly when it's a cover. So we've been out today. We have been to Carlisle, to the UPS depot again. I'm sure they're getting to know us there, actually. Sending parcels off to America and Australia. So that's the first for us. We haven't sent any junk journal stuff ever to Australia before. So yeah, I think that's it. Lovely. Oh. There we go. Right, so let's just try and keep these lines in mind like that and put that down. So it should all line up really nicely with the edges. Yeah, that looks good. And I think that looks okay. Let's bring that over a smidge. There we go. Lovely. I think it's just inked the right amount. It's just distressed it a little bit, but it doesn't look grungy. And I'm not going for grunge. I'm going for bright, cheerful, happy little bees. Right, so there we are. So now all that we need to do is glue that over here, like so. So let's do that. Lovely. So I find it easier I think you get a better finish if you put it down flat. Leave it to dry and then fold it. Because if you do it the other way, if you put it round the corner and then you seem to get a ridge where you don't want a ridge. So I prefer to put mine on when it's flat like this. Just get the brayer out. Make sure it's got good contact everywhere. And if you've got any seepage of glue with your collal, use one of these, which is a baby wipe that's been allowed to dry out. And it's really great at picking up excess glue, particularly collal, and not leaving any lint or anything like that that we definitely don't want. So this is the same. We need to put the glue down here. Plenty along that crease, I mean not masses, but you know, make sure you've got it. And over the stitching as well. The stitching sometimes can be the one thing that just doesn't want to stick. Right, lovely. Now then, let's just open that up like we did with the other one and pop it down like that. Turn it over, make sure it looks all right. Yeah, that looks lovely. Looks good. So I can't see any glue coming out, but I'm going to put some pressure on, so there might be. So I'll use my dried out wet wipe, which Mr. F says if it's a dry wet wipe, then surely it's just a wipe. And he's right, of course he's right. Oh dear. Okay, so there we are. That's our cover. We will need to cover the inside as well at some stage, but not today. I think we've got a little bit of excess paper there, so I'm just going to trim that out. It would be unusual not to have some excess on things this sort of size, so I'm just going to trim that off along there. There we go. Yeah, perfect. That's really, really nice. It's looking nice. And I'll leave that completely alone to dry, and then I'll fold it in the crease lines that are already marked. And then we can think about decorating it, putting something in the inside cover as well, if we want to. But basically that's it. We have made a start. We've made a start to our really odd and very different journal, and I think that's great. I'm quite excited about it. You might want to watch this through to the end just to make sure it works, but I'm pretty sure it does. You know, this is the mock-up. I've got my rings. I don't want that there. I was just trying things out just to see what they look like. Let's take that out of the way. So I've got my rings there, and that folds up. Yeah, it does. That folds down. And then the pages fold up like that. It's got to work. My mock-up says it works, so it works. Right, okay, that's us done for today because we're waiting for this to dry. When you come back, I probably will have covered the inside as well, just because it's just the same as this. Well, in fact, it's going to be easier than this, I think. But that's kind of what we're aiming for. So I'll see you very, very soon with another video of the next bit of this. So thanks for watching. Really good of you to join me. Bye.